Recently, there has been news that two countries are about to merge. If this merger plan is successfully implemented, a new superpower will be formed, and it may even end the US dominance. Who are these two countries? Can it really compete with the United States after the merger? Remains of the giant. Before that, we need to understand the formation of the two countries, Russia and Belarus. These two countries were born when the big brother of the Soviet Union disintegrated in the last century. At that time, the Soviet Union faced the rigidity and corruption of its political system. The leadership of the party and government agencies lacked vitality and innovation, and failed to respond to the needs of social change in a timely manner. This has led to a discredited government and public dissatisfaction with the system. The Soviet economic system faced serious problems decades before its collapse. Centrally planned economic models lead to misallocation of resources, inefficiencies in production and waste. At the same time, the Soviet Union relied on the export of resources such as oil and natural gas, but with changes in the international market and poor internal management, the economy fell into a state of collapse. Before and after the disintegration, there was a rise of nationalism and independence movements within the Soviet Union. Nationalist sentiment ran high in the various Soviet republics, demanding more autonomy and even independence. This put enormous pressure on the unity and stability of the Soviet Union. Gorbachev's perestroika attempts to revive the Soviet economy and political system failed to achieve the expected results. The failure of political reforms led to social turmoil and instability, and various social contradictions and conflicts intensified, which eventually weakened the unity and stability of the Soviet Union. Finally, the disintegration of the Soviet Union occurred when the global environment changed after the end of the Cold War. With the drastic changes in Eastern Europe and the weakening of the hostile forces of the Cold War, the Soviet Union lost its influence in Eastern European countries. This led to a weakening of the geopolitical status of the Soviet Union, while also providing greater space for independence movements within the Soviet Union. The above reasons have led to the current Russia and Belarus, but now there seems to be another opportunity to merge the two countries again. Motivations and benefits of the merger. Just a few months ago, Russia and Belarus signed a document on in-depth cooperation. The document includes the implementation of monetary, economic, and financial integration between the two countries, as well as unified market coordination for oil and gas in both countries. As soon as the news was reported, it triggered heated discussions among people from all walks of life in the media. Most media speculate that Russia and Belarus are likely to merge into one country in the near future. The signing of this agreement between the two countries may be mainly because Russia believes that the merger of Belarus will further strengthen Russia's political control and influence in the region. This could help Russia maintain its geostrategic interests in the former Soviet Union and form stronger political alliances in the region. The merged country will be more likely to have a stronger voice in international affairs and win more international support for Russia. The simultaneous merger of Belarus will strengthen economic cooperation and resource utilization between the two countries. Belarus has rich natural resources and agricultural industries, while Russia has a huge market and industrial base. Through the merger, the two countries can achieve deeper economic integration, promote the efficient use of resources and complement each other. In addition, the merger is also expected to enhance the economic competitiveness of the two countries and increase opportunities for foreign investment and trade. Incorporating Belarus would strengthen Russia's security capabilities in the region. Belarus has an important geographical location and is of strategic significance to Russia's national defense security. The merger will promote defense cooperation between the two countries, enhance common defense capabilities, and demonstrate a strong military capability to respond to regional and international security threats. Finally, Belarus has deep cultural and historical ties to Russia. The merger can further strengthen cultural exchanges and interactions between the two countries, and promote common historical heritage and identity. This is of great significance for maintaining national unity and social stability between the two countries. It should be pointed out that there are a series of challenges and difficulties in merging Belarus, including the integration of the political system, the adjustment of the economic structure, the acceptance of the people and the response of the international community. In addition, there are certain differences and opposition voices in Belarus. Therefore, the realization of the merger requires long-term consultations, negotiations, and efforts. Possibility of merger. The possibility and impact of a Belarusian-Russian merger is a complex issue involving many factors and stakeholder views and attitudes. The first element of merger is the will and determination of the governments and leaders of the two countries. The likelihood of a merger increases if the two governments decide to pursue it. However, there may be differences in the political environment and attitudes towards the merger between Belarus and Russia, and the implementation of the merger needs to be accepted and supported by the people of both Belarus and Russia. If the merger plan faces domestic opposition and resistance, the likelihood will be affected. And the success of the merger requires the alignment of interests between the two countries, including economic, geopolitical and security aspects. The likelihood of a merger increases if both parties believe that the merger will bring greater benefits and opportunities. A simultaneous merger would alter the regional and international political landscape. Russia, as a superpower, will become even more powerful and influential when combined with Belarus. This may lead to changes in the balance of power in the region, which will have an impact on other countries and regions. Mergers could alter the region's geostrategic landscape. Russia has a vast territory and an important geographical location, and the merger will enhance its strategic advantages and influence in the region. This may trigger strategic adjustments and responses by other countries. At the same time, the merger may promote economic cooperation and integration between the two countries, enhance the efficient use of resources and complement each other. This is expected to enhance the economic competitiveness of the two countries and increase opportunities for foreign investment and trade. The final merger plan may attract the attention and reaction of the international community. Some countries may worry about Russia's further expansion of its sphere of influence, and thus take corresponding countermeasures and measures. It needs to be emphasized that the possibility and impact of mergers are complex and dynamic, influenced by a variety of factors, including internal and external political, economic, and social factors. Whether the merger can be successful and its ultimate impact will depend on the decisions and efforts of all parties, and will face many challenges and difficulties. Challenge to America. Although the merger of the two countries has not yet been fully concluded, if Russia really intends to merge with Belarus, it will be a big news on the international stage. As Russia's old rival, the United States will also face huge challenges. If Russia succeeds in merging Belarus, it will form a huge merged country. The combined Russian-Belarusian state would be a powerful regional power with far-reaching implications for the geopolitical landscape. It will have a larger territory and population, as well as greater economic and military power, allowing it to play a more important role in regional affairs. This could weaken U.S. influence in the region and pose a challenge to U.S. dominance. In addition, the combined Russia-Belarusian state will form a large market and resource base. This will provide more economic cooperation and investment opportunities and attract other countries and enterprises to cooperate with it. At the same time, it may also become an economic competitor of the United States in the region, competing with the United States in terms of trade, technology, and resources. At the same time, Russia and the United States have always had a certain degree of confrontation and competition in geopolitics. If Russia merges with Belarus and achieves strong development, it will strengthen Russia's position in the region and change the regional balance of power. This could lead to a realignment in relations with Russia and the United States by other countries in the region, possibly forming new alliances or strengthening existing ones. The combined Russian-Belarusian state will have a powerful military, including nuclear weapons, advanced military technology and equipment. This may increase the country's influence in regional and international security affairs, and pose a certain challenge to the military superiority of the United States. In addition, the country may take more aggressive military actions or expand its military presence in surrounding areas, further raising tensions in the region. It should be noted that the above is only a hypothesis, and the actual situation may be different due to various factors. The complexity and uncertainty of international relations make it difficult to accurately predict its impact. However, Russia's merger with Belarus will undoubtedly have an important impact on regional and international politics, and may pose a challenge to the U.S. dominance. Therefore, for the United States, it is necessary to remain vigilant against this possibility and adopt corresponding policies and strategies to deal with it. Epilogue. In the full discussion, we explore the possibility of a merger of Belarus and Russia, and the potential challenges such a merger would pose to the monopoly of the United States. Although we cannot be sure whether a merger will occur and the extent of its specific impact, we can be sure that such a merger will have a significant impact on the geopolitical landscape, economic cooperation and competition, regional balance of power, and military strength and security threats. In the future evolution, we will continue to pay attention to the development of Belarus and Russia, and its potential impact on the pattern of international relations and the situation where the United States dominates. Only through continuous analysis and dialogue can we better understand and respond to changes in global politics and contribute to a peaceful, stable, and prosperous world. What is your opinion on this matter? Welcome to leave a message in the comment area for discussion. In 1949, Jiang Qing's second husband, Huang Jing, was appointed as the mayor of Tianjin by Chairman Mao because of his outstanding work ability. Jiang Qing had 3 marriages before marrying Chairman Mao, and Huang Jing was her second husband. Huang Jing's family background is prominent. His grandfather Yu Mingzhen was a teacher of Lusun when he went to Gansu province to serve as an envoy. His father, Yu Dachun, served as the director of the Longhai Railway Bureau of the Ministry of Communications of the nationalist government in the 1930s. Therefore, Huang Jing is a real wealthy son. Huang Jing, formerly known as Yu Kuei, was admitted to Qingdao University at the age of 18. In Qingdao, he met Li Yunhe, a 17-year-old woman. Li Yunhe later changed her name to Lanping and Jiang Qing after arriving in Yan'an. Jiang Qing was from Shandong. Because his mother was his father's concubine and her status was not high, the mother and daughter were often beaten and scolded by their father. The mother couldn't stand his father's abuse, so she took Jiang Qing to Jinan. After arriving in Jinan, Jiang Qing studied acting at the local drama academy. Jiang Qing has a very good talent in performing dramas. Soon, she became a pillar of the theater, was appreciated by the theater leaders, and fell in love with a rich boy. A kid from a rich family launched a frenzied pursuit of Jiang Qing. Jiang Qing, who had no experience in the world, had never been treated so well by anyone at such an age. Soon, she married this kid from a rich family. Later, because the two families had different values, they soon divorced. After the divorce, Jiang Qing came to Qingdao alone, where she met her second husband, Huang Jing. After Huang Jing was admitted to Qingdao University, he led the students to carry out patriotic movements. Later, Huang Jing became a member of our party. By chance, Huang Jing met Jiang Qing, who was staying at the home of his brother-in-law Zhao Taimu. At this time, 17-year-old Jiang Qing Gang ended his marriage with his first husband. Huang Jing and Jiang Qing met not long ago, and the two soon fell in love. The reason why Huang Jing, who was wealthy, fell in love with Jiang Qing was that Jiang Qing was not only lively and beautiful, but also advanced in thinking, and was willing to join the drama club he formed and promoted with him. Anti-Japanese. In 1931, without the blessing of Huang Jing's parents, 19-year-old Huang Jing married 17-year-old Jiang Qing. In 1933, Huang Jing introduced Jiang Qing to join our party. During that time, the two participated in many anti-Japanese activities together, and also played a great role in our party's underground activities. In 1933, because of betrayal by a traitor, Huang Jing was arrested and imprisoned, and Jiang Qing went to Shanghai. Whether it was sugar-coated shells or torture, Huang Jing withstood the test without revealing any secrets of the party. After Huang Jing was released from prison, he went to Shanghai to find Jiang Qing, and the two lived together for a while. Later, because Huang Jing's parents firmly opposed the two together and cut off Huang Jing's source of income, the two finally ended their marriage relation. In 1937, Jiang Qing went to Yan'an and became Chairman Mao's wife. Huang Jing, who left Jiang Qing, was admitted to Peking University and participated in leading the famous 129 anti-Japanese movement. After the outbreak of the anti-Japanese war, Huang Jing came to the Jinchaiji region to lead the anti-Japanese struggle, and managed the work in the area he managed in an orderly manner. Here, Huang Jing met reporter Fan Jin. Fan Jin and Huang Jing were both from Shaoxing, and she came from a famous family. In 1939, Huang Jing married Fan Jin. After marriage, the couple had a very good relationship. They had 5 children together. Huang Jing's 3 sons all later became senior cadres of our party, and the third son, Yu Zhengshen, was an official at the Zhenkuo level. On the eve of the liberation of New China, due to Huang Jing's outstanding work ability, Chairman Mao appointed Huang Jing as the mayor of Tianjin. After Huang Keqian went south with the army, Huang Jing took over as the secretary of the Tianjin Municipal Party Committee. At that time, Tianjin was devastated after the war, and many people stayed on the streets. Huang Jing came to Beijing to ask Chairman Mao for support. Chairman Mao actively supported Huang Jing's work and allocated a sum of money to Huang Jing when the country's funds were tight. Huang Jing used this fund to build more than 50,000 sets of resettlement houses for the common people, so that the common people in Tianjin would no longer be displaced. The common people all praised Huang Jing, the parent official. During Huang Jing's work in Tianjin, Tianjin's industrial output exceeded the total output value of the past 10 years only in the first year. In 1952, Huang Jing was transferred to the central government and served as the minister of the first Ministry of Machinery Industry in the country. 4 years later, he was elected as a member of the Central Committee. Because Huang Jing paid a lot in the long-term war of resistance against Japan and the War of Liberation, and worked day and night at work after liberation, he suffered from a serious disease and finally passed away at the age of 46. At Huang Jing's memorial service, tens of thousands of people spontaneously bid farewell to Huang Jing. The central government gave this loyal soldier of the party a very high evaluation. He is a good example for all party members and cadres to learn from. Although Huang Jing came from a famous family, he devoted his whole life to the cause of the liberation and construction of New China. He has done many good and practical things for the common people, interpreting the true meaning of serving the people, and deserves to be respected forever. As we all know, in ancient society, the idea of men are superior to women was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. As the accessories of men, women had almost no status at all. During the war years, women might become the spoils of the enemy, while some women became the political victims of peace. Exchange the happiness of his life for the long-term peace of the two states. In ancient my country, there was such a woman. She married a distant land as a concubine princess, and married 3 fathers and sons there. This is shocking to modern people, let alone in that feudal and conservative era. And this woman is Wang Zhejian, one of the 4 ancient beauties. Wang Zhejian goes out of the fortress. Wang Zhejian was born in a commoner's family. When Emperor Han Yuan was selected for the draft, she was already slim and graceful, proficient in all kinds of piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting, so she was selected into the palace. But with no background and simple mind, how could she understand the complexity of the harem? She was retaliated for not having a painter. Not only did she fail to paint her beauty and aura, but she was also painted as an ugly woman. Became a court lady. Wang Zhejian has been in the palace for many years, but she has never been summoned or favored by the emperor. She thought that her great youth could only wither silently in the harem. But she didn't expect that the appearance of a person completely changed her fate. In 33 BC, Hu Hanzi Shanyu, the leader of the Xiongnu, came to the Han dynasty and proposed a marriage relationship with Emperor Han Yuan. Emperor Han Yuan felt that it was a good thing to exchange a woman for peace on the frontier, but he was unwilling to marry a woman from the royal family to the Huns to suffer, so he decided to choose a maid from the palace to marry to the Huns as a concubine princess. The woman chosen was none other than Wang Zhejian. It was not until Wang Zhejian's departure that Emperor Han Yuan saw her real face for the first time, with peach blossoms on his face and eager eyes, and just that one glance gave Emperor Han Yuan the idea of taking back his life. But after all, he is the 9th 5-year supreme, and this matter is related to the safety of the big man and the Huns, so he can't play it, so he can only watch the beautiful woman go away, and finally Emperor Han Yuan took all his anger on the painter. To marry father and son 3 people. It is said that on the way of Wang Zhejian's marriage to the Huns, she thought of leaving today and not knowing when she would return to her hometown. The melodious sound of the piano, seeing her beauty again, forgot to swing her wings, and fell to the ground, and Wang Zhejian was named Luoyan for this reason. After Wang Zhejian arrived in the Huns, he was deeply loved by Hu Hanziden. Although Hu Hanziden was already a 70-year-old man at this time, Wang Zhejian still gave birth to a son for him, but the two only got along for 3 years. In 1999, Hu Hanzi Shanyu died of illness. At this time, Wang Zhejian was only 21 years old. However, the customs of the Xiongnu are different from those of the Han people. After the death of the father, the successor son can marry the stepmother, so Wang Zhejian married Hu Hanzi Shanyu's eldest son Fuziliruodan Shanyu. Wang Zhejian grew up in the Han dynasty, and his mind was full of the concept of one daughter not marrying 2 husbands, not to mention that she was his stepmother. How could she marry his son? Isn't this against ethics? So she wrote to Emperor Han Yuan, saying that now that Hu Hanzi Shanyu had passed away, she hoped to return to her homeland, and also said that she could not accept the marriage customs of the Huns. But Emperor Han Yuan did not intend to take her back, and wrote back asking her to follow the customs of the Huns. After all, the years of war between the Han and the Huns in the past few years made the people miserable, and Emperor Han Yuan had been troubled by it. But since Wang Zhejian got married, the Xiongnu never disturbed the frontier again, and the people lived and worked in peace and contentment. Now that Wang Zhejian's personal happiness is exchanged for the prosperity of the country and the people of the big man, she must not be allowed to come back. Wang Zhejian, who received the reply, felt ashamed, but had to face the reality. Fortunately, Fusilier Woda Shanyu respected her very much, and the age difference between the two was not too big, and they lived together very harmoniously. Wang Zhejian he also gave birth to 2 daughters for the complex plant Lier Woden Shanyu, and spent 11 happy years in the Huns. Later, the replanted Lier Woden Shanyu died of illness, and Wang Zhejian once again faced the embarrassing situation of being forced to remarry, but this time he was married to Hu Hangzi Shanyu's other son Soxi Ruodan Shanyu. 3 The fragrance disappears and the jade dies. Wang Zhejian married 3 fathers and sons one after another, and she became ill because of this. Just 2 years after marrying Su Ruodan, she passed away. A generation of beauties died in a foreign land like this, and were drowned in the world. In the long river of history, she never had the chance to return to the hometown she missed day and night. Zhejian made great contributions to the Han dynasty and the Xiongnu. She brought the Han culture and planting technology to the Xiongnu, benefiting the Xiongnu people. Moreover, there was a rare period of peace between the Han dynasty and the Xiongnu, which saved the people from the suffering of war. But for Wang Zhejian personally, it was a tragedy. A woman married a foreign country, and was forced to marry 3 fathers and sons, and finally became depressed and died of illness. Nowadays, most people's impressions of Wang Zhejian are her posture of fallen peace and her contribution to going out of the fortress, but few people know that this peerless beauty has such a tragic past.